Have you ever heard of a king with 12 daughters, each more beautiful than the last, who faced a mystery so baffling it drove him to despair? Every morning, the 12 princesses' shoes were found completely worn out, as if they had been dancing all night long. Yet, they were locked securely in their grand bedroom. Where could they possibly be going? The king was perplexed. He couldn't figure it out, no matter how hard he tried. The doors were bolted, the windows were barred. But every single day, without fail, a dozen pairs of shoes were danced to pieces. The king made a royal proclamation across the land. Any man who could solve the mystery within 3 days and 3 nights would win the hand of the princess of his choice and inherit the kingdom. But there was a catch, a very serious one. Anyone who tried and failed would forfeit their life. Many princes and noblemen, captivated by the princess's beauty and the promise of a crown, came to try their luck. They would sit outside the princess's door, determined to stay awake and see where they went. But every single one of them mysteriously fell into a deep sleep, waking up the next morning with no answers and worn-out shoes as the only clue. The mystery only deepened, and the pile of failed suitors grew. One day, a poor soldier, wounded in war and with nowhere else to go, was traveling through the kingdom. He came across an old woman who asked him for some food. The soldier, though he had little himself, shared his bread with her. In return for his kindness, the old woman gave him a piece of advice. She told him about the king's challenge and gave him a magical cloak. "This cloak will make you invisible," she said. "Oh, and whatever you do, do not drink the wine the princesses offer you at night." With this strange advice and the invisible cloak, the soldier decided to try his luck at the palace. He presented himself to the king, and just like the others, he was led to a room adjoining the princess's bedroom. That evening, the eldest princess came to him, offering a goblet of wine. Remembering the old woman's warning, the soldier only pretended to drink, secretly pouring the wine away. He then pretended to fall fast asleep, even snoring loudly to be convincing. The 12 princesses, thinking he was sound asleep, began to get ready. They opened their wardrobes and pulled out magnificent dresses, jewels, and new dancing shoes. They were giggling and excited, all except the youngest, who seemed worried. She said, "I have a strange feeling about tonight, as if something will go wrong." But her sisters just laughed and told her not to be silly. The soldier, hidden under his invisible cloak, watched everything. He saw the eldest princess tap on her bed. To his amazement, the bed sank into the floor, revealing a hidden staircase. Through, one by one, the princesses descended, with the eldest leading the way. The soldier, completely unseen, followed them down. He accidentally stepped on the hem of the youngest princess's dress. She cried out, startled, "Someone is holding onto my dress." But the eldest sister dismissed her fears, saying it must have just caught on a nail. They continued their journey. 2. They walked through 3 incredible groves of trees. The first had leaves of silver, the second had leaves of gold, and the third had leaves of dazzling diamonds. To gather proof, the soldier broke off a small twig from each grove. Each time he did, the snap echoed loudly, startling the youngest princess again. But her sisters, eager to get to their destination, ignored her warnings. Finally, they arrived at a vast, sparkling lake. 12 boats were waiting, each with a handsome prince inside. Each princess got into a boat with a prince, and the soldier snuck into the last boat with the youngest princess and her partner. The prince in his boat remarked how heavy it felt, but he rowed on. Holiday. Across the lake was a magnificent castle, glowing with lights and filled with the sound of music. The princesses and princes danced there all night long, their faces full of joy. They danced until their shoes were worn through and it was nearly morning. The soldier watched it all, amazed. As the princes rowed them back across the lake, the soldier remained hidden. they. We retraced their steps through the diamond, gold, and silver groves and back up the secret staircase. Once back in their room, the princesses took off their ruined shoes, hid them under their beds, and fell asleep, exhausted. The soldier quietly returned to his room and pretended to be asleep. The next morning, the king asked the soldier if he had discovered anything. On the first and second days, the soldier said nothing, using the time to follow the princesses again and confirm what he had seen. On the third and final day, he stood before the king and revealed the entire secret. As proof, he presented the silver, gold, and diamond twigs. He then described the underground lake, the 12 princes, and the enchanted castle. The king called for his daughters, who knew they had been discovered and confessed everything. The king, true to his word, asked the soldier which princess he wished to marry. The soldier, being a practical man and no longer young, chose the eldest. They were married that very day, and the soldier became the heir to the kingdom. Having solved the incredible mystery of the 12 dancing princesses, thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.